My 34-10 score prediction of this game came very close to hitting. Of course, the final score 35-7 in favor of Ohio State over Iowa. But whether it's a 34-10 prediction or a 35-7 result, it all comes out in the wash the same. Buckeye dominance going into their big game next week at Oregon.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
This game in 2024 on Saturday reminded me a lot of the last time these two teams met up in Columbus in 2022. The Iowa Hawkeyes in that game 2 years ago and in this game now were able to force turnovers. They were able to get Ohio State on the ropes a little bit, but the dam eventually broke in the second half. Ohio State pulled away with a huge win. A few years ago, same story on Saturday in this one. Now, why did that happen? Well, it's the same reason why Iowa was not able to keep pace with Ohio State 2 years ago. It's because they don't have the offense to match their defense. Now, Iowa has a little bit more going for them offensively this year than they did certainly a couple of years ago. So baby steps, they are certainly making improvements in that respect in Iowa City. But when you can't put points on the scoreboard, it's not going to help you out. When your defense is playing well and doing their job, but the offense certainly isn't doing their part, I get it. One of the best defenses in college football is on the other side. You get the result that you get. Let's go into my takeaways. I want to first start with the Ohio State offense. In years past, the Scarlet and Gray offensive units have been described as explosive. When you look at C.J. Stroud and the type of numbers that he put up, when you look at Justin Fields and the type of numbers that he put up, you could go back to Dwayne Haskins. This has been a team that has put a lot of numbers on the scoreboard. There have been a lot of numbers in stat columns, and there's been a lot of production, big plays over the top. When we've talked about Ohio State in the past, it's about preventing the home run ball. I would trade out explosive with another E word to describe this Ohio State offense, and it is efficient. This is an offense that is always moving forward. And nobody is maybe more efficient than their quarterback, Will Howard. Will Howard basically hit one big play over the top in this game. We'll talk more about that one here in just a little bit, but he was very accurate, and he kept this offense moving, and he plays within Chip Kelly and what he wants him to do so well and so much. What did he start, 10 for 10, 11 for 11 in this particular football game? If Will Howard can continue to be that efficient, and he continues to be that accurate, and you have what you have around him, everything's going to be okay. I've heard a lot of people say, all Will Howard has to do is not screw up. You take that, protecting the football, a veteran presence, and then you add in his running ability, and I think he is a perfect fit, and a lot of the personnel for Ohio State is a perfect fit for their offensive coordinator. I think Chip Kelly, the way he is historically and what he does with dual threat quarterbacks, what he does with very dynamic and creative run schemes, and just how advanced he is as a play caller, that's what, because this was my first really Ohio State game watching it live in real time throughout the entirety. I've watched Ohio State film leading up to this. They haven't exactly had a lot of marquee games. I certainly get that. But watching it in real time, I just see how well everything blends together. This is going to be a run-first football team. So if Will Howard protects the football, I know he threw an interception. Okay, I understand that in the first half of this game. But if he protects the football well for the majority of the season and they keep running like they're running and they hit big plays, Emeka Egbuka with 2 touchdowns in this game, they hit big plays at key moments in time, this is an Ohio State offense that is certainly going to be just fine when you combine it with that defense and the rest of this football team as well. A big reason why Ohio State came up with such a significant victory in terms of the margin of the score is because of what they were able to do defensively against Kaleb Johnnson. The game plan was very simple, and I talked about it in my preview. You stop Kaleb Johnnson, you win the football game. And that is exactly what happened. Ohio State was bringing 8 guys into the box, and they played tight man coverage on the outside. That sounds familiar because I said it during my preview. They were always going to be very confident with their corners on the outside defending against the Reese Van Der Zees and the Jacob Gills of the world, and they bring Kaleb Downs down into the box and others. You bring all 8 guys, and you almost overwhelm this Iowa rushing attack. You overwhelm this Iowa offensive line with the sheer talent and embarrassment of riches that Ohio State has on defense. This was going to be the result. Now, Iowa was able to get some passing plays down the field, but they were never going to be able to get consistent passing success from Cade McNamara in this offense. When you play tight man coverage like that, yeah, you're going to get some oppositions are going to get some plays down the field. But when you have the talent that Ohio State does out at defensive back, it's certainly not going to be consistent. Iowa is certainly not going to be that team that is going to be able to do that. Now, we talk about it, the dam breaking. It broke 2 years ago for Iowa, and it broke once again on Saturday. Iowa was playing with Ohio State in that first half, but really it all started with that big Jeremiah Smith gain over the top of the defense. That was really the big play in terms of a big chunk explosive play that we talked about at the beginning of this reaction. That was the one play. Of course, that big Jeremiah Smith play led to another absolutely ridiculous one-handed touchdown grab for Jeremiah Smith. This is becoming a weekly occurrence. At some point, it will be expected, and maybe it will no longer be ridiculous. It will just be what we anticipate each and every single week. But when you're Iowa, and you're at that point in the football game, and you're already down by a couple of scores, and then you fumble it, you throw an interception, and you fumble it on your next 3 drives, and they end up in touchdowns, yeah, that is the definite. You are breaking the dam yourself at that moment in time. Now, Iowa can't afford, obviously, to do that the remainder of this season. Okay, this is a team we know what they need to do to be successful. They need to be able to continue to pound that rock. And I think you saw in this game, if they can't pound the rock, if they can't win the battle running the football, once again, they are going to be leaning extremely hard on Phil Parker's defense. You can't win a game the way they played in the second half. You can't win a game on the road in the Big Ten like that. But you got to give credit to Jim Knowles and Ohio State. He knew exactly what to do. This defensive line came ready to play, and they got more pressure and more pressure on Cade McNamara as this game went along. I said it in the preview. They needed to get Iowa down early, so they abandoned the run game. They need to throw to get back in it, and la-di-da, look what happened. Ohio State dominance on Saturday. Those are my thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts. Ohio State is looking good, and I think that they are feeling good going into that game against the Oregon Ducks. That is going to be a big one next week. Leave all your thoughts. Buckeyes, where do the Hawkeyes go from here? Now they have 2 losses on their slate. Want to hear your thoughts about the black and gold as well. I'm Big Ten Ted. We will see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.